and gentlemen, let's go racing here at Knoxville.
Only the best go 3 abreast.
It is show time at Grove Speedway.
Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, here at Eldora Speedway, it's showtime!
You got them for a rest. Often imitated, never duplicated. The greatest show on dirt, the world of outlaws.
It's time to sit back, relax, and enjoy, because, ladies and gentlemen, it's showtime!
Set to do battle for 30 laps. The green flag is waving.
Hello again. It is Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit. Talking sprint car racing, our favorite time of the week, and we are so glad that you have joined us. We're here in Concord, North Carolina. Steve Post alongside Erin Evernham. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Fantastic, fantastic. Love Darlington weekends and lots of sprint car racing to follow along with as well. And all is well. All is well.
Good deal.
So fun stuff, that is for sure. And another sprint car weeker on the NASCAR Cup side with our winner with Kyle Larson getting the win.
That was cool.
Man, you want to talk about dirt track guys? You got Larson up there and Tyler Reddick running for the win at Darlington. That's just like...
And if there's one track to me that resembles anything of a dirt track type of feel, it's Darlington.
Yeah.
Running up against the fence like that.
Man, up against the fence, right on the edge. The cars sliding all over the place, just gassing it up. And Larson and Reddick over the last 20 laps of that thing, just going at it. It was good stuff. It really was. And Kyle Larson, man, I'll tell you what, we're on a roll. Moves to the next round of the playoffs. Owen's out running Cycle Land. Kyle's going to Silver Dollar Speedway. I mean, the guy's got a beehive of activity going on, but none of it seems to be suffering at all. Everything seems to be good. Yeah,
pretty impressive.
It really coolly is. It's fun stuff. It really is. It's I had victory lane duties, and Kyle has just become a very fun victory lane guy. He's reflective, winning Darlington. Folks, I know this is a sprint car program. Okay, winning Darlington matters to drivers. This is the one. This is that. Technically, this is Williams Grove, probably the technically challenging racetrack
with the history
that has driven some of the top in the sports nuts forever. Look how long it took Brad Sweet to win at Williams Grove and what the relief was finally. This is probably where we're at with Darlington.
Yeah.
It's just that kind of a racetrack. And so Larson got the win down there. Let's get into it. Our Hefner Racing product, Hot Topics, World of Outlaw, NOS Energy Drink Sprint Cars, the Sage Fruit Skagit Nationals and Gray Harbors. Winners, Sheldon Haudenschild, Rico Abreu, Brad Sweet, and Logan Short. But Erin, I have talked about I don't talk points until after Knoxville. We might not be talking points for long. Brad Sweet, okay, 3 of the 4 nights, Thursday, Saturday, and Monday, Brad Sweet finished ahead of David Gravel and Carson Macedo. Only on Friday night, and Brad was 11th, and they were in the top 10. This is starting to look like a Brad Sweet kind of deal. And the problem is that you're getting at the stage now you're going to have to rely on Brad failing or faltering.
Yep.
And remember that one stint we had, like where he went like 2 years without falling out of a race or something stupid, god awful like that. This is really just, he's starting. We're not there yet. They still are alive. But, boy, he's starting to put a little bit of pressure on him, I am sure.
Well, it's interesting in his Victory Lane interview talking about, he's lost some races getting past near the end. But, he obviously has the consistency of still getting those top finishes, and he knows how to maintain his car and, he's points racing. But it's interesting to hear him say that in Victory Lane. It's like, I still wish he wishes he was winning more when you're like, oh, man, you're crushing it with the consistency.
Man, he is uber talented.
Yes.
He watching Brad Sweet wheel a sprint car is a real treat to do. I mean, and he is really, and I know he's a, but you're starting to see it, it takes these guys, it takes the greats a long time to refine it. They go out and win a bunch of races. Brad's refined it now.
Yeah.
I mean, it's awesome to watch. It really is. All-Star Circuit of Champions. Love this one. Kerry Madsen and Zeb Wise. Zeb Wise is rolling.
Yeah,
we're seeing him a lot. But how about Kerry Madsen? Picked up the ride midseason in the Vermeer number 55. Okay, I was just kind of looking through his stats. 10 straight top 10s.
Wow.
But that includes prelim night and the Knoxville Nationals. Includes the high limits race at Huset's and then a bunch of all-star races. Madman's keeping that 55 in good shape. And they're going to Port Royal now. We'll see what happens. Old Madman go up there and mix it up with a posse. It's going to be fun, that's for sure. Central Pennsylvania, speaking of the posse, Brent Marks is heating up. We're going to talk to Brent on the program today. Wins at Williams Grove. He picked up the $20,000 Dirt Classic win. It appears that we're seeing Brent Marks midsummer last year. We're seeing Brent Marks now. And it's not the month of money, but it's the Pennsylvania month of money. And Brent Marks is starting to really establish himself up there as on top of it. So, and I'll be anxious. We're going to talk to him. I'll be anxious to see what his thoughts on that are. Freddie Raymer won Lincoln on Saturday. Brownie won at Sealands Grove on Sunday. Port Royal, Devin Borden won Saturday night. And the mayor, Dylan Cisney, won the Labor Day fair race yesterday. Kind of messes something up, though, around here. Messes something up. We recorded our Wing Nation TV show last week with Dylan to talk about the fair week. And he messed us up by winning it. So I'm not happy with the mayor. No, I'm really happy for the mayor.
Yeah.
Dylan Cisney, and his reaction was finally won the fair race. You know, that's another one of those big races that,
especially when you're the mayor.
When you're the mayor to win the Labor Day fair race, it was good stuff. So that kind of brings us to we've talked about this some over the balance of this year, double-digit winners. We've added a lot to the list since the last time we talked about it. Freddie Raymer's added to his list. He's at 16. AJ Flick has added to his list. He's at 15. But we have 4 drivers now in 10-win category in the 410s. David Gravel, Rico Abreu, Brent Marks, and Mark Dobmeyer. So, So starting to get starting to rack them up. And now it's going to be interesting to see with the Pennsylvania month of money and the stretch drive for the World of Outlaws, where we're at with all of this. Going to be good. So, second guest we have today, this is awesome, Gavan Boschele. Gavin is one of our Millbridge kids.
Yeah.
And I say kid, he's at school right now, okay? So I forget about this and remember back to our Dominic Selzy and days like that where we had to get him out of study hall to do in. So Gavin's going to get a break. I think we hit him about lunchtime. But he won Friday and Saturday at Sweetwater, Tennessee, and then Sunday with USCS at Talladega Short Track, up to 7 wins, driving for Christopher Bell and Brian Kemenaugh. So there's a lot I want to talk to Gavin about with that, what he's learning from those guys, and just cool. I think that's awesome. And finally, the race saver, IMCA Nationals at Eagle, Nebraska. Jeremy Hewish, a Kansas racer, picked up the win. And I love this. He drives the number 88J. The 88 is a nod to Steve King, the Kansas legend that lost at Knoxville. So Jeremy Hewish, congratulations on the IMCA Race Saver National Championship, that annual event, Labor Day weekend out at Eagle, Nebraska. Saw a little bit of a record the prelim area. It looks like a fun time. Looks like I had a good time out there. Didn't get a chance to linger long and look around much, but good to see. That's a great event out there, and good to see Jeremy Hewish pick up the win. So there you have it, our Hefner Racing Product Hot Times and our Hot Topics, that is. Hefner Racing Products, the absolute #1 pit utility vehicle in sprint car and midget racing, is the custom mule conversion from HRP, and it starts with a solid platform, dependable, great-looking Kawasaki mule.
And it's customized and built to each customer's specifications. There's options like generator, air compressor, shock and radius rod racks, amazing toolboxes and drawers, LED lighting, walk-on roofs, and more. HRP mule conversions perform, outlast, and maintain their value better than any other utility vehicle.
www.hrpracing.com. That's hrpracing.com. Stay with us. Sage Fruit Hotline fires off. Brent Marks, he joins us next.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Williams Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Williams Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Williams Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Williams Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Don't look now. Brent Marks starting to get her wound up again. Really has that car rolling. Picked up wins 9 and 10 of the season, including that $20,000 Dirt Classic at the fabulous Lincoln Speedway. And Brent joins us now on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Hello, Brent. How are you?
I'm doing good, Steve. Thanks for having me on.
It's great to catch up with you, that's for sure. I'll go a little big picture. How good do you feel right now? How is where are you guys at? Because it looks, from my perspective, you got her in pretty good shape. How are things going with the team right now?
Yeah, it's going great. We're having a lot of fun. Just been working extremely hard to get our program back to where it was the last couple seasons, and honestly feel like we're right there. So it's taken us quite a bit of time to get here, but just really happy with the whole Murray Marks Motorsports team and how hard they've been working, and it's been a lot of fun. So the last month we've been, I don't think we've finished outside the top 5, so it's just been a blast.
Brent, I watched your interview with Jeremy Elliott, our good friend Jeremy Elliott, and you talked about how recently you guys have tried different things on the car. You're working on some things, and it reminded me of a conversation we had a few weeks ago with James McFadden. And he was talking about the tires and the different feel and how some of the setups they're running are something like completely different than you maybe would have run in the past. Is that something that you've had to work through? Is it related to the tires, or what is it maybe that you're working on?
Yeah, I mean, when that tire first came out, beginning of the year, I was pretty excited about it. It was something different, and I was actually, from knowing what it was supposed to do to the race cars, I thought it would make us a little bit better, but honestly, it made us worse. So it just didn't fit into our program very well, and we started really having to work on it, and we were just doing different things, and it just got to the point to where I felt like we exhausted all of our other options, and we just needed to start working on things that we couldn't physically change at the racetrack. And when we got to the Nationals week there for Knoxville, we tried a couple of different things, and that week we just seemed to come up one spot short every single time we hit the track, and it was very disappointing. And after Knoxville there, and not making the Nationals, come up one spot short there. And on our way home, I said to my wife, I was like, missing the Nationals is awful and it sucks, but at the same time, it motivated the hell out of me. And after that, we just really, really, really got to work on changing different things. And it's been great ever since. And we've actually started to venture towards back to what we were doing last year. On our race car was setup wise, but we've changed other things to compensate for what the tire is doing to our program, and I've been really happy with it. So we'll just keep on working on it and just try to get better. And I know we've been running really well, but we can always be better. So that's our main focus right now. Going into Tuscarora 50 week, I'm just really excited about it.
Now, Tuscarora 50 is coming up, and you're a former winner of that event. I do want to go back to Sunday night, the Dirt Classic. And you don't see what we see watching these races, but I can't imagine the feeling going into turn number 3 on the final lap with the bomb that Dietrich threw at you. That had to get your attention. And what's the mindset of a racer when you have a situation like that where something's right at the end thrown at you and you're just scratching and clawing to get to the line?
Yeah, well, I was kind of I felt like I was in a difficult spot there. Racing, in lap traffic with, it was Freddie and then Anthony Macri, and Kyle Moody was in the mix there. But, you got to realize at the beginning part of the race, the first half, I was racing both Anthony and Freddie for second.
Yeah.
And our cars were pretty equal. We were all 3 of us are just, like I said, really equal, really good, and it was difficult to get by them. And I made a pass on both of them there on the front stretch, and they got tangled up in 1 and 2. And then once I got to the lead, I got at the end of the field, it was those two. So then I'm like, man, I got to figure out how to try to get by them again while they're lap traffic. And that was just really difficult because they were trying to move through the field, and they were racing side by side with some of the cars, and I was right there with them, and it's just, I just wasn't able to make any moves, and I just knew I was losing a ton of ground. And I looked up at the scoreboard, seeing Danny got the second, and he's always really good there at Lincoln, so I obviously knew that he was going to be there, and I was just trying to minimize my mistakes as much as I could, and coming to the white flag there, Freddie and the 99 went side by side into 3, and I had to run on them both, and I was right on their bumper going into 3. So I was like, I'm just going to try to split through the middle and see if I could squeeze up in front of Freddie, but the middle was so dirty, and I just lost so much ground, and I knew that he was going to be there. So it was just one of those situations going into turn 3. The top was better than the bottom, so I just had to leave the door open, let him slide me, and try to turn back underneath. And fortunately, it worked out. Fortunately, he was deep enough back there that the slider he threw, there was no stopping it, and he was going to drive it through the wall or drive it through me, one of the two. So it still worked out in our favor. So it was a tense ending to that race, and but it was a lot of fun, though. So it was definitely drama-filled and great for the fans to watch.
Yeah, it certainly was an exciting race. So did you know that you won? Because you only actually won by a nose wing length. Did you right away know you had it?
Yeah, I could, we could
Yeah.
see there. So it was, yeah. So, I mean, I knew I won. I didn't realize it was the white flag, to be honest with you. And I just seen the checker, and I was like, oh man, I'm glad I didn't make, I'm glad I didn't try to turn underneath him any sooner or get stuck in that loose dirt there in the middle or anything like that. So it literally all worked out perfectly. So it's just one of those things, it just ended up being lucky there at the end.
Well, lucky and good both. You certainly had the skill set, that's for sure, to make that move and to go forward with it. Tuscarora 50 this weekend, okay? I was just going back through this, Brent, okay? Last year, it was won by Anthony Macri and the Macri Motorsports car, which is no longer a team, there's a team and there's a driver. The year before that, it was won by Logan Wagner and the Zemco car. The year before that, Lance DeWeese with Kreitz. The year before that, Reitzel with Boffman. The year before that was the year of the Outlaw race, so it was Donnie Schatz. We don't have to worry about Schatz. 17 and 16 were DeWeese and Kreitz. The last combination that is still intact that is there is 2015, Brent Marks, and it's Murray Marks now, but it's still your own team. Yeah. My God, dude, what is going on? And you even jumped to another ride at some time in there and came back to home. Holy cow, is this Tuscarora 50? This is whacked out how open this thing is.
I know, it really is. It's interesting. This year, I don't know what's been up with this year. There must be something in the water or something. But it's just there's so many people jumping rides, and car owners making going different directions, and I don't know. It's just it's not the best year to be a hired sprint car driver. I can tell you that. So, it's going to be interesting. It's just. I feel like our program's really good there at Port Royal. We were really good there for those twin races, and obviously those guys are still going to be in contention to win that race. But being in different cars and different programs, it's just it's going to be a little bit more difficult for somebody like Anthony, for example, to win that race. And Bernie has a great program there, but it's still not the same as the 39M. So. It's going to be a challenge for everybody, but I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to the challenge, and with everybody switching up rides and changing seats, it's just gonna mix it up a lot more. So I think it's just going to be one of those races that you're just not sure who's going to come out on top, but hopefully it's us, and that's the goal. But I feel like we're the only team that's really intact that. Has been in contention to win that race the last several years. So I'm looking forward to it, and I'm excited. It's one of my most favorite races of the year, and just a cool environment up there, and it's going to be extremely hot this week. So, I think that's going to play a role into it as well. It's just, some guys get overheated inside the car. So, it's just going to be interesting. It's going to be a whole lot of fun.
Brent, with all that said, how nice is it to go into this race with the momentum on your side, knowing that you guys have hit on some things with the car after going through maybe the beginning of the season of not having the results you want, to now know you're going to hit the month of money, we're coming in with some great momentum?
Yeah, it's always great to have momentum on your side. Your confidence level's up. The team morale is up. Everybody's just happy. And, so that's a big part of racing or performance-based sports in general is, the attitude of the team and the mindset. And, if you yourself are down or your team is down, your success is going to be very limited. So, I'm just really proud as far as, that goes with my team as well, even through the struggles that we've had this year. We've had a roller coaster type of year. And even through the struggles, everybody's stayed strong and motivated, and I'm really proud of them for that. So, now we're seeing results and we're seeing the success, and it's well worth it. And I'm just, like I said, I can't stop saying I'm just so excited going into this week. I really want to get another Tuscarora 50 win under my belt. Mean a lot to me and my team, and we're just super excited about it. So, like I said, it's one of my most favorite races of the year to be a part of, and we're looking forward to it. And I feel like we have the car capable of winning, and I feel like I'm driving well enough to be able to win the race. So, but it is difficult. It's a 50-lap race. We have, a break halfway, which I'll be honest with you, I absolutely hate races with the halfway break. So I'm just hoping that everything goes smooth for us, but we'll see how it goes.
I am sure it will. Brent, the final thing I have for you, and it's more big picture stuff. We went into this year, okay, you have the World of Outlaws, you have high limits starting off, and how many extra races everyone wants to run. Everybody wants to run every race on the planet. It's like, I want to run every high limits race. I want to run every World of Outlaw race. You've been, of course, your own program. You do your own deal here. We all of a sudden get to June and July, and Jacob Allen's taking a break, and whatever's going on with Anthony's taking a break. Danny goes on vacation. You actually took a time period. Brownie passes up races in the Midwest to focus in on the Nationals, and you guys actually took a little time and said, okay, what's the deal? How valuable is it? We understand it's valuable to be racing, but how valuable is it as a guy running a team, or how do you have to do to manage all of that with the grind of sprint car racing in 2023?
So it's an extremely hard thing to manage, just because of the amount of racing and the amount of opportunities we do have. This year especially, there seems to be more and more races that are paying more money. Yeah. So it's, you want to be a part of all of them. But, I'm 32 years old now. I'm not younger. I'm not as young as I used to be back in 1920, 21 when I was starting out sprint cars. I wanted to race 7 days a week and, all that stuff. I wanted to race 200 times a year if I could. But, your life changes, things change. You mature, you realize what's more important, and that's kind of where I've been at the last couple years. And, our life outside of racing is extremely important, and it's healthy to have a good life outside of racing and not just revolve your life around one thing. And especially when you are going through some struggles and you just honestly need to take a step back from it, because you just keep beating your head against the wall, you're just going to keep injuring yourself, and that's just basically what it stems down to is, everybody is putting on so many races, especially in the midsummer, and it's just so much racing, and it's hot, and your team is getting drained, the drivers are being drained, and it becomes to be too much. And you got to realize, like I said earlier, if you're mentally strong, if your mental state is good, within the team as a driver, you're going to be more successful. And that's the thing. It's like when you get to the point to where you are drained and you just feel like you're going through the motions, you're not going to be successful. So sometimes you just need to take a step back and just take a break, and wind down, get away from the sport. We all love the sport, and this is what we love to do. But that's what a lot of people don't realize is it is a performance-based sport, and the mental capacity that it takes to be successful in a performance-based sport is a lot. It takes a lot of your time, a lot of your mind. Like you constantly think about it, and sometimes you just need to just unwind from it. And that's been something that's been really important to me, been really important to my team. We got to the point there in the summer where I could just see that they were just completely being drained, and they were literally going through the motions, and just it was hard, and I was getting to that point too. So it's like we just need to take a break. Like, I know we're going to miss some big races here, but we just need to stop and unwind a little bit and concentrate on ourselves and our families. And that was really the decision behind it. And I'm a big believer in that. And I really think that series should start looking into that, and I mean, yes, having 90 some races a year is great, but like we need to have some actual weekends off and not be like, oh, well, we rained out this weekend and we have this weekend off, so we're just going to make the race up that weekend. No, it's like if you have a weekend off, you're going to have the weekend off. And that's what I think we really need to start looking into. And same with Central Pennsylvania. We have, you have the Speed Weeks, and you have Knoxville Nationals, and you have the Kings Royal. And, there's a lot of racing in a short period of time. And I think even in Central PA, like you have Speed Week, I don't think any track should race the week after. Just allow people to have a break. And I think you're seeing it as well in, as far as fans go too, and in the money aspect of things. It's like people don't have that kind of money to spend anymore, and we're seeing less and less people at races because we're racing so much. So there's just a lot of different aspects to look at it, and that's just kind of where I'm at with it.
I'm with you on it. I've actually had this conversation with a couple of World of Outlaw drivers and different other people that are talking about it. So, and I respect you for doing that, putting all of that at the forefront, the away from track stuff as much as the at track stuff. Brent, I'm telling you, we look forward to seeing what you do this weekend at the Tuscarora 50. We wish you the best, and maybe we'll be talking to you another week or two after you take some more money out of those tracks in Pennsylvania. But we certainly wish you the best in doing it.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for having me on.
There we go. Brent Marks joining us here on the program. Stay with us. Gavan Boschele is coming up next.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
The National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum's newest exhibit will be our track tribute to Grove Speedway inside the museum's main floor from April 3rd through October 2nd this year. You'll learn about the beginning of Grove Speedway and the evolution of sprint car racing on the East Coast through 8 of the iconic big cars and sprint cars that made up the history of Mechanicsburg, Pennsylvania's Grove Speedway. Plus, you'll see videos of historic National Open sprint car races and other racing events that put Grove on the map. That's the track tribute to Grove Speedway, featured April 3rd through October 2nd at the only museum in the world solely dedicated to sprint car racing, the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum in Knoxville, Iowa.
Wow. Erin, we're working on dialing up Gavan Boschele. Brent's conversation there at the end. Wow.
Yeah.
He is, and folks, he is speaking for a lot of people in a lot of the drivers and teams in the industry. Brent's not on an island here by any stretch of the imagination.
Not at all. I mean, we talked to James McFadden about it. We obviously know what Jacob Allen is going through. We saw Anthony Macri's post on Facebook. We've seen Danny Dietrich make comments like
Brownie,
this.
Brownie, remember a couple weeks ago,
yeah.
Brownie said, no, I could have gone here, but I decided we needed to stay tough.
And he's right. It's the travel. It's the mental. You're constantly thinking about what you need to do better. It's all of it.
Fascinating, though, when you think about it.
And the heat and the crew and there's a lot to it, and there's more and more races.
Right, and they keep adding another $20,000 win race here, and another. It's crazy. It really is. And on the surface, it's like we want more. Look at last year. World of Outlaws are only going to get us 4 of these high limit. We want to run all of them.
Yeah.
And now look at this. We're doing the backup boogaloo with all of this stuff.
Backup boogaloo.
I am telling you, someone who is not backing up at all. He went down to Sweetwater, Tennessee, and picked up a couple, and then Talladega, Alabama. One of my Millbridge boys, Gavan Boschele, joins us. Hello, Gavan. How are you?
Good. How about you?
Fantastic. What's it like to just go 3 for 3 on a weekend?
It feels really good as a driver and probably as a crew chief too. The cars had been really good to do that, and had to be pretty consistent. So I couldn't ask for more.
Gavin, we know that you drive for Christopher Bell, who's an amazing race car driver. But aside from just Christopher, what is it like to work with Brian Kemenah? I've known him for 20 years, and he's one of the best in the industry. What has that been like to work with him as you get more and more into the sprint cars?
It's really cool. He's one of the best to do it, and he knows his stuff. So we've had a good bond, and he kind of knows what I like now. So it's been a lot easier. Stuff's been clicking. We've been hanging around the front more, and eventually been just starting to win. And he's a good dude. No matter winning or losing, we're always having a good time on the road, checking with him. So it's really cool to work with such a amazing dude.
It really is, and Brian is he's just so respected and everything like that. Is the relationship like you talk about having a good time? Does he have to get on you at times? Is it arm around your shoulder? How does that work when you're learning this stuff and just continuing to develop your craft?
I haven't really had anything like that, but he doesn't really coach me that much. He knows like with the car, like when I ask him, like when he tells me, he's like, all right, you're making the right decision here, like with the car, the setup. So he kind of trusts me. I think he definitely leans on me a lot with the setup dependent, but he's so good at that stuff. He can just read at the track and just know what it's going to do. But he doesn't really push me that much. I think he trusts me in what I do and what decisions I make.
Gavin, as a young and upcoming driver, what is it like to not only have Brian, but to have Christopher Bell, both of those people to ask any question you want to and have them right at your fingertips?
Oh, it's really good to have that great of a driver all around. That source, it helps a lot. He's always texting me. He doesn't have to. He's always texting me, asking what the car needs, what the track's doing, just kind of giving me tips and just anything he can help to make me a better race car driver.
Gavin, the transition, I mentioned this. I've watched you bang the boards and work around Millbridge Speedway for years and years. So much success up there. What have been some of the big challenges as you've gone from the small car to the full-size 360 sprint car?
I think at first it was just kind of like size and just learning the speed of the car. But I've kind of learned to process everything from car to car. It was tough at first when I first started going from the midget to micro. It was really, really different from everything. But then I started going from the midget to the micro to the sprint car to the late model. It's kind of it's hard. You have to sit in the car for a second and just sit down and think and take a deep breath and know what car you're in, what driving styles you have to do. But I've kind of got to the point now where I kind of hop in anything and you got to be fast. So it's been hard, but I'm starting to learn it.
You mentioned the late models. I see you've been running some of the Cars Tour and some stuff with Chevrolet. What is it like you're 15 years old to manage a schedule of driving completely different race cars and just the logistics of it while going to school?
It's super hard. I have to balance my school too. So my parents always make me go to school, so I have to maintain good grades and stuff like that. But the late model stuff has been fun. It's really, really different. I've been still learning on that stuff. Just need to get a little better.
Yeah, no doubt about it. Now, you're on lunch break from school, right? We're not getting you in any trouble with any of the classes, are you? Are we all right?
No, I'm on lunch break.
Okay, good. We used to have Dominic Selzy had to go to the teacher's lounge to make the call, so things have probably changed a little bit since then. But really, really neat stuff. Gavin, when you look at this, where's the next year? Where's the next couple of years? Where do you envision? Where are the hopes and goals of where you want to go with this?
I really want to race World of Outlaws full time in NASCAR. That's really my end goal here. I love sprint car racing. I love the pavement stuff too. So I kind of want to manage both of them when I'm older.
I love that. Gavin, what's the short-term plan? What do you guys plan for the rest of the season? More sprint cars, more late models? What do you have on the docket?
I think a lot more sprint car and a lot more pavement stuff. Not much midget or micro anymore. Probably a few local shows at Millbridge, but really just the pavement and the sprint car. Really just focus on that, and then of course the Chili Bowl.
There you go.
Yep.
Yeah, no doubt about it. It is fun stuff. It really, truly is. Really, really neat. Gavin, where did you, I mean, I know it was Millbridge where you started and everything. Where did you get the bug to go racing? Where did the racing come from in you?
It's kind of weird. My dad was a football player, so there's really no racing in our family at all, but we were driving by Millbridge when I was like probably 3.5. We saw little outlaw carts going around when there's white tires and hay bales at Millbridge, and we got a cart from Nick Hoffman and Tyler Lewis, and we went to my little cul-de-sac in my neighborhood, and Tyler Lewis would have a string attached to the kill switch, and if I got too close to him, he would pull the kill switch, and then we went out to Millbridge in a little blue Flame 5 cart and made a lot of laps from Nick Hoffman. So it kind of originated all from there, and I kind of played football and basketball and racing, and I ended up playing football and racing. My dad kind of told me one day I have to make a decision, so I ended up picking racing, and all the rest is history.
You made the right call. That's for sure. We love it. That is, yeah. Man, dude, I'll tell you what, it is so much fun. I gotta tell you this and ask I'm gonna ask a question. Running the sprint car, how do you balance aggression versus patience on the racetrack? Because it's such a skill set, and you're a gasser, dude. I'm telling you what, you never have had a problem going fast. But how have you learned to manage that as a sprint car driver?
That's the first thing Kevin Swindell told me is the sprint car stuff, you're gonna learn how to run in the slick. You're gonna really need to be an egg under your foot the whole entire time and know when to push the car to the limit and when to kind of ease back and not push the pace. But it's been hard, like at Talladega, I was kind of half throttle around the whole entire track. I wasn't even really pushing the pace, just letting the tires catch up. But I think there's times where you need to push the car, but you don't want to push it too much to where you start making mistakes. It's kind of all, it's definitely a big mind game, and you just don't want to get to you.
The reason I asked that question, I went down to Travelers Rest and watched you win down there. And as I said, I know one problem you don't have is the gas pedal. Okay, you can gas a car up with the best of them. When I left Travelers Rest, I thought, okay, in my opinion, Gavan Boschele has drastically changed his game. That night, you're leading the race, and you ran across a couple of times some it was a one-groove trap, and you ran into lap traffic that was significantly slower, and you were patient, and you would get around them and get back down to the bottom. It's a tough thing. Job. That's got to be it's got to be a challenge though for a gasser to have that patience.
Yeah, I like at I-55 or in the lap traffic, and there was 2 lanes, so they were on top and bottom. So I kind of had to wait for the right timing. I felt like I had a pretty good lead, so I just didn't want to do any bonehead move or make a dumb decision to where I would just lose the lead and just take me out of the race or take someone else out of the race for no reason. So I kind of just waited for a gap to open. I shot the middle and just kind of was just pacing myself, not really pushing it too much, not pushing the limit, just kind of riding at a good pace and just kind of staying calm.
You were doing a wonderful job, that's for sure. Gavin, I've waited for this day, the first time to get you on Wing Nation. I'm really excited that we had a chance to do it. Wish you the best on the balance of the season, and I know we'll talk to you again, but thanks for joining us this time on Wing Nation.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
There we go. Gavan Boschele joining us on the Sage Fruit Hotline. I kid you not, when I left Travelers Rest, I've always had
actually saying that to me when you came in here.
I think I came in and said it to you. I've always had a lot of respect for Gavin. Love his mom and dad. Great people. Always did. And to my knowledge, Gavin has had one speed. And that's a good speed to have. When I left Travelers Rest, we need to keep an eye on this guy.
Yeah.
Because he is figuring out that one speed is not always the answer. Victory lane and getting to the win, and he drove a great race at Travelers Rest, and sounds like he was doing the same thing at Talladega. So Fun stuff, that's for sure. Appreciate Gavan Boschele joining us here on the Sage Fruit Hotline. Stay with us. More Wing Nation in just a moment.
Perfection isn't easily achieved. It takes hard work, dedication, and perseverance. Through their commitment to excellence, Sage Fruit Company has been supplying customers with the best tree fruit in the Pacific Northwest for over 3 generations. They work hard on the farm, in the packing facilities, and with their retail partners to provide consistent, high-quality apples and pears all year long. Look for Sage Fruit at your local grocer.
Welcome back. It is Wing Nation, presented by Sage Fruit. We are having a ball, that is for sure. National Sprint Car Hall of Fame birthday count. Holy cow, man, I'll tell you what.
A lot of birthdays this week.
A lot of birthdays. Boy, there was, man, I'll tell you, Dave Darlin, Bobby Grimm, Jackie Holmes yesterday. Tomorrow, Burt Emick, Earl Hallequist later this week, Larry Dixon, Bill Utz, Roy Bud Grimm, Hector Honori, John Pageon, Art Pillsbury, Sammy Sessions. Today's Brent Kading. Happy birthday, Brent Kading, BK. Today would have been the birthday of 1996 inductee Willie Davis. Willie Davis was born in 1930 in Los Angeles, fell in love with the hot rods out in California, started wrenching on cars, including wrenching on one of the cars that won Bonneville South Flats.
Wow.
Speed thing. 1961, he built his first sprint car, hired some guy by the name of Johnny Rutherford to drive it. Other drivers, Chuck Hulse, A.J. Watson, Al Unser. In 1968, hired a guy by the name of Gary Bettenhausen. Now, if you know your USAC history, you know this began what was affectionately known as the Larry and Gary Show. Gary Bettenhausen and Larry Dixon, they would travel the country just wearing everybody else out, winning races and championships. Gary did it in a car owned by Willie Davis. Continued, they won multiple championships, a lot of races. Continued working as a mechanic for Galen Fox, Tony Bettenhausen, A.J. Watson, Grant King, and Smokey Unick. Man, oh man, what a story.
Yeah.
What a great, great story. And Willie Davis' story is forever enshrined in the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame and Museum. He passed away in 2017. But I love the story of Willie Davis. That is some good stuff, that's for sure. Really, really cool. And you can become a member of the National Sprint Car Hall of Fame for just $25. Gets you all kinds of perks. And membership has its advantages, as they say. This weekend, Erin, we are going to have to keep one eye on one side of the country and one eye on the other.
Yeah.
This is wild, okay? Let's go to the East Coast because it's Tusky 50 weekend. Mm-hmm. Not only do we have to keep our eye on the track, but the fair food. I am not a friend. I am a friend of Wanda Dietrich, Danny Dietrich's mama. Boy, I'll tell you what, she'll send out she did that yesterday, right? I literally walk in the house, I'm starving. And I go to Twitter, and Wanda Dietrich has sent the fair food thing. And I'm like, my woman, stop doing that. No, start doing that. We love it. I actually posted on our Wing Nation page yesterday, you're going to do it anyhow, Posse fans, so just do it. Here's your invite to do it. Taunt us. Thursday and Friday night, All-Star Circuit of Champions. Saturday night, $56,000 to win. Tuscarora 50, as we talked about. This thing is wide open.
It really is.
It's fascinating.
When you talked about the teams that have won it the last, 4 or 5 years that are no longer together.
Macri and the Macri 39, and then the different drivers in different cars. So 2021, it was Logan Wagner in the Zemco car. But Logan is now in the Kreitz car because in 20 it was DeWeese in the Kreitz car. Kreitz is in the Macri car. My God, yes. And then, so it goes back, and then we had 18. This was when it got rain delayed, and they made it the World of Outlaw race. So Schatz, probably the only chance a World of Outlaw driver could ever win the Tuscarora 50, Donnie Schatz, imagine that, did that. But it goes back to 2015 when Brent Marks and his family 19M was the same combination is there. So it's wide open. I mean, you got Brownie over there. Brownie's going to monkey. Brownie won Selinsgrove. He's going to be. He's going to keep coming over to Pennsylvania and win one of these things.
Absolutely.
He's that good. I mean, so it's going to be awesome. So while they're doing that on one side of the country, Brad Sweet, Colby Copeland, and Kyle Larson, the guys that run Silver Dollar Speedway, they're having a party on the other side of the country. It's Gold Cup weekend. Wednesday night 360s. Thursday through Sunday, World of Outlaw NOS energy drink sprint cars are through Saturday night. Saturday night's paying $25,000 to win the Gold Cup at Chico.
I love it. I would just love to see that race revitalized.
Brad and Kyle and Colby, this is okay. We have Trophy Cup coming up later on. That's a party. We have Terry McCarl with a party and a race breaks out. But what that trio are doing at Silver Dollar Speedway, folks, if you're able to go, you need to go for the weekend because they're adding all kinds of stuff to it.
Yep.
And then the racing will be great.
Yep.
The racing.
Caitlin was recruiting for the bikini contest still. There was some spots available last I saw.
Oh, I thought she might have been recruiting you for the bikini contest.
Oh, please, no.
Yeah.
Heck no. No one wants to see that.
When you said Caitlin was recruiting for the bikini contest.
Not me.
I'm like
on social media, dear God. Woo.
Woohoo! There we go. The Gold Cup is back. That's really what you can say about it. It's been there for a while. Man, I remember you used to say you won the Knoxville Nationals, you won the Kings Royal, you won the National Open, you won the Gold Cup. He won the Big Four.
Always up there, yeah.
That was always up there. And the race continued on, and grateful that the race continued on because when these things go away, they most times don't come back. So those that trudged along with it to get us to this point, enter Brad and Kyle and Colby, and they're like, we want this to be back up where it belongs. And so $25,000 to win, it's getting there. 60-some cars, though.
Yeah.
Whew, man, there are going to be some late nights for you, Erin. There's going to be late nights for you, Erin, watching on
I'm
Dirt
so
Vision.
old. I got to watch it in the morning.
There we go. Absolutely. So the Gold Cup, all kinds of other racing action. I saw this. Oh, Attica has their season championship. Now, why these tracks are having season championships?
The nerve.
So what this means is if you're a sprint car fan, you better get out to the track. Fun stuff. It really is. So great show today, man. I'll tell you what, I love the conversation we had with Brent Marks. The conversation about the here and now, the breakdown of Lincoln, Port Royal and everything.
And his candor.
But this burnout is real. And I know that there's, you go on there and you post something about this and the sixth person will say, but Sammy and Steve. Well, Sammy and Steve are different cuts than it's a different time. It's a different time. It's a different era. We used to go to movie theaters where your shoe would stick to the floor. Try that now. We used to listen to music on 8-track cassette track tapes. Kreger knows all about this. I'm much younger, but Kreger.
I love 8-track tapes.
He loves 8-track.
Vinyl.
Well, vinyl's coming back because vinyl's cool, but 8-tracks are never coming back.
They weren't
8-tracks are never cool.
Yes, they were.
Well, they were
Come
cool.
on.
But they suck. But they were cool.
Trans Am with the T-tops off.
Yeah.
8-tracking.
But we don't do that now because we all want our music digital. Yeah. Everything is different. Ugh. And sprint car racing should be different too. And it's a great problem that everybody wants to host a sprint car race and wants to pay more money. But we're getting to the stage where it's like, woo, man, people are wrung out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Look, we've seen it.
We've seen it.
And those are the ones that are saying it publicly. There's a whole lot more that are not saying it publicly. So it is going to be a fascinating time. And this just dovetails into whatever in the wide world of sports is going on with sanctioning bodies next year. Yeah. Okay? You can hear every rumor, every speculation out there. I don't know how we're going to manage this. Because if you believe everything you hear, there's going to be 275 national touring races that are all paying $60,000 or more to win. Now, I know I'm being extreme there.
That's a little extreme.
I don't know how this is going to work out, and it's just going to be fascinating to follow along.
Yep.
Because it's just, I'm just curious, and this is, I'm curious if you're Brian Carter or if you're Tony Stewart with the All-Stars, if you're Brad and Kyle with High Limits. You're sitting around, we have been go. We need 80, 90 races. And all of a sudden in 2023, it's like, whoa, hold up. How do you manage this going forward? I don't have the slightest idea how they manage this. And I don't envy them in doing it.
Yeah, because there's no backing down, really.
No. How do you go backward?
People are still going to show up.
Exactly.
It's going to be,
Look, when Williams Grove takes off for the Knoxville Nationals, Clinton County hosts a race, or Big Diamond hosts a race, and people go.
People go.
I don't know. It's going to be a fascinating time, but the burnout is real. Yes. The burnout is real, and it just, every one of us in our walk of life find that balance, find that. I'm dealing with it. Brent and I, we chatted after the interview, and I'm drawing a lot of walls in my life between work, and I love motorsports all the time. I went to 160 races last year. I'm drawing walls. I'm drawing lines. When I get done here today, I've got one more project, and I'm going home, and I'm going to work around the house, and I'm going to listen to some music and like that. You just got to do it, but it's going to be fascinating how it impacts us in the sprint car land. It really, truly is. Fascinating also because it is Tuscarora 50, Juniata County Fair Week coming up, and on our Wing Nation television program presented by Sage Fruit, we have the mayor, Dylan Cisney, talking about the whole mayorship, how that came about, and everything else. It was great stuff, great conversation. But again, I will qualify that by saying we talked to him last week or 2 weeks ago before. We talked to him before he won yesterday on the program. You can get Wing Nation gear at Port Royal this weekend, the Tom Book Motorsports Justin Peck merchandise trailer, or you can go to www.shopwingnation.com. That's shopwingnation.com. She's Erin Evernham. I'm Steve Post. We appreciate Brent Marks and Gavan Boschele for joining us this time. But more important than all of that, thank you for joining us here on Wing Nation presented by Sage Fruit.